Hello and welcome to another season premiere, if you would, of Extra Point for the 2025-2026 school year. I'm so excited to get started. I am joined with Mr. Michael Morgan, Tim, and Zev, and we're going to be reacting to some power rankings that ESPN released heading into week 3 of the NFL season. So obviously we're 2 weeks in. We've kind of got a gist of what teams are going to be good, what teams aren't going to be so good. But without further ado, guys, just get right into this. Let's react. So if we want to see this number 10 team here, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are 2-0, a big Monday night comeback against the Houston Texans. Fair ranking, higher, lower, what do you guys think?
I think for now it's kind of fair because both their wins came within the last minutes. I don't think they're playing to the level they were last year. Obviously, they're still a great team. They'll obviously be continuing games, maybe move up to like 9 or 8 this week, but I think right now 10 is fair for how their games have been ending.
I feel it's pretty fair. They had 2 solid wins. Yes, they were pretty close, but at the same time, they have one of the best rookie wide receivers right now in Emeka Egbuka, and Baker Mayfield, he's looking like a great, solid addition to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So yeah, I think 10 works.
I think it's a fair ranking. I mean, I thought they would be a little bit worse after they lost Brady, quite frankly, but I think they're doing well. I think that they are keeping their team up and being just overall a good team compared to what they lost within the last couple of years.
Yeah, Baker, he signed with the Bucs, and he has kept that franchise afloat, like you said, after Brady retired. They've won the NFC South 5 years in a row now, and 2 late comeback wins in the first 2 weeks had them at 2-0. They are dealing with some injuries on the offensive line. We'll see how that turns out for them. But yeah, Tampa Bay 2-0 at 10. They are the favorites to win the NFC South again this year, so we'll see if they can get that done. Moving on to our number 9 team, Washington. I don't like this ranking. I'm going to say it right now. Washington did not look good last Thursday against the Green Bay Packers. Jayden Daniels was completely shut down, and apparently he has now a lingering knee injury that might keep him out for week 3. So I think this ranking is a little high, but what do you guys think?
I think because of the injury and like maybe they're higher after week 1, but after their loss probably dropped them down to 9, and I think they're not. I think they haven't. I think 9 is why. Them being at 9 is because of the injury. They're probably gonna lose next week. I don't remember who they're playing, so they might drop out of that. Probably a little bit too high, but I think it's fair because after being 1-1, they're not gonna drop out of top 10 completely because they were still a great team. But maybe this injury is gonna start hurting them.
I completely disagree with this, Frank.
What, you disagree that do you think they're good?
I don't think they're good at all. I think
I agree with you, Tim. There you go.
They deserve to be like bottom 15 right now.
I don't know about bottom 15.
Well, no, but hear me out.
Hear me out though. Stretch, but
we already have 2 major injuries. Yes, Jayden Daniels is a day-to-day, but Austin Eckler is out for
the season. Their pass catching running back. It's big for their third
honestly,
down
for a
plays.
1-to-1 team, they didn't look so hot compared to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, they're stars up, by the way. They have Javonte Williams, great running back, way better than them. Dak Prescott's having an MVP caliber season already.
That's just
and their victory is better. So I think that the Cowboys should be here.
That's absolute blasphemy, Tim. The Cowboys, they gave up 37 points to the New York Giants.
The Giants are a pretty good team this year, though.
This Washington team gave up 6 points. 6 points. Dallas gave up 37. I don't know, Tim. But Washington, number 9, I think it's a little high. Seems like that's the consensus. But number 8, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're still in the top 10 despite being 0-2. Mind you, there were 2 close losses to 2 good teams. They are the kings of the AFC, and we have a little interesting picture there. Shout out to Dean. He made that graphic, and he put that picture. So Kansas City at 8, 0-2. What do you guys think?
Well, the problem with this is, if this was any other team 0-2, they're not in the top 10. But, since it's the Chiefs, they went to 3 straight Super Bowls. Like, that passed. Even though I feel like power ranking should be what is happening right now, I feel like especially companies like ESPN is going to have, like, past years influence their decisions, why I think they're at number 8 right now. Maybe if the Giants do beat them and they get 0-3, maybe they finally get out of the top 10. But I think if they beat the Giants, then ESPN might even put them at 7.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs, they're an interesting case. I saw a stat on X a couple days ago that said teams that start 0-2 over the last 20 or so years, only 10% of them have made the playoffs. The Chiefs feel like an anomaly, though. They just can't miss the playoffs, right? They can't.
If the 2011 Giants won the Super Bowl, I think the Chiefs could come back after 0-2.
On top of that, though, they did lose to 2 high-caliber teams in the Eagles and the Chargers, who are both probably in this top 10. So it does make sense that they're here, even though, it's based after past rankings.
It may be a little biased, guys, but I don't like the Chiefs. I don't think they deserve to be number 8. I think because of the Taylor Swift addition and the Kelsey stuff, I think that's what makes them so high. I think it's their fandom that gets them that high ranking, but I don't think their skill is there anymore. I think they kind of fell off after last season.
That's totally fair to say because, they're 0-2. They don't have a win, and they're still a top 10 team.
Right.
That's pretty debatable. So Chiefs at 8, number 7. See who it is here. There's the Chargers. We were just talking about them. I think this is a little disrespectful to the Chargers, guys. I think they are an absolutely stacked team this year. Yes, they lost Rashawn Slater in the preseason. However, I think this team is the team of destiny this year. They are going to get like 12, 13 wins, I think, by the time the season's over. They're going to win the AFC West. 2-0, a great win against the Chiefs in Brazil last week. And then they go into Las Vegas on Monday night and take down the Raiders. Completely stuffed them offensively. Yeah, Chargers, I think this is a little disrespectful. I think they're top 5, but what do you guys think?
I don't know. I mean, I do think they're definitely in the top 5. I feel like they're honestly top 3 with the way they're looking. They're looking amazing. Quentin Johnston's finally got into his game.
Johnston's been killing
he's
it
finally
this year.
killing it. Keenan Allen's back, and he's doing better than ever.
Allen too.
Didn't
Still
do anything with the Bears. Came back and has been owning the Chargers. And Ladd McConkey's doing his thing. They just need their running game fixed, and I think they have almost a perfect team. Madison Beer's really helping.
Yeah.
I agree with them definitely probably being a top 5 team. That's probably what there should be. But it's like with the whole team of destiny thing, like they just need to finally win a playoff game. Like I find like Justin Herbert needs to finally prove himself in the playoffs because he hasn't done it a single time yet. So it's like when is he going to do it? Can he even do it? So as good as they can be in the regular season, they just need to show me something in the playoffs so I can finally take them seriously. Because even though I agreed that they're probably a top 5 team, I just still can't take them seriously.
Yeah, Chargers at 7. So moving on, gonna chug right along here to number 6, the Rams. Okay, this is an interesting team. Rams are always sneaky. They're like this quiet little team, but they always play good every year. They have a win against the Texans week 1. They completely shut them down. They go into Nashville week 2 and beat the Tennessee Titans. Rams at 6. What do you guys think?
I absolutely agree with you. I think that they are really a sneaky team. I think they come out of nowhere and they get themselves high in the rankings, and people don't give them the credit they deserve.
Absolutely.
So seeing them at number 6, I think this is finally somewhat of the spotlight that they deserve to be, not quite top 5, but also not, near the end of the line at 10.
But, do you really think they're better than the Chargers, though?
I
don't think they belong here at all.
I don't.
No, I don't. I think the Chargers are a really underrated team. I think the Chargers are definitely better, but I'm glad to see that they're on the list. Like I said, not too low, but not too high as well.
I think 6 is a great spot. They're like a team that I always view like they're a little mix of veterans and rookies. Like Puka is amazing. Stafford can still throw the ball, play great, even with that injury rumor that was going around during the offseason. But 6 is a great spot because, as you said, no one really takes them that seriously in the offseason. Everyone thinks they're going to be maybe middle ground, mediocre, average, but then they always prove us wrong and get way more wins than we expect.
So the Rams at number 6. Now we enter the top 5 here with the Detroit Lions. Okay, this is an interesting one because they have a loss. The Detroit Lions have a loss. They lost week 1 to the Packers. However, they absolutely dismantle Chicago Bears in week 2. This Lions team, I still have some question marks with them. I have concerns. I think this is a high ranking. I don't think they're a top 5 team right now. But what do you guys think?
I agree. I don't think they're top 5 right now. I think if I was going to remake this list, it would be probably put them at 7 or maybe 6. But because I feel like the Lions, I've said this in the past, I feel like the Lions are a team, they're great right now, but since the past 2 or 3 years, I don't see them improving.
Yeah.
They're staying at the level they are now. I don't see them improving. They make questionable calls in the playoffs that cost them the games. And destroying the Bears doesn't impress me at all, especially because week 1 you got destroyed by the Packers, which that's a team you need to beat more than you need to beat the Bears. So 2, games that not really impressing me, but maybe that Bears game got them back to where they need to be.
Yeah, the Lions. I mean, I don't know. They look so bad in the Packers game, but they look so good in the Bears game. So
but
I don't know.
That's the thing, though. The Packers are probably the NFC team.
They're probably up here. So
they probably will make the NFC championships. The Lions, they did not look good in that game, but that's the defense this year.
Yeah.
Let me just say something about the Lions. I know that they've been bad for so many years. They've been on the bottom of the leaderboard. It's not a great team. But I think that seeing them, that's not necessarily top 5, but seeing them on the 1 through 10 leaderboard, I think they definitely deserve it after how many years they were at the bottom.
I do agree. I still think they're maybe a bottom half of the top 10 team. I don't know about top 5 though.
I agree.
Moving on though to number 4, Baltimore. Okay. So the Ravens also have a loss. However, they should not have lost that game. That was a complete and utter meltdown in Week 1 against the Buffalo Bills. An unprecedented loss for the Ravens. They come back in Week 2, absolutely blow out the Cleveland Browns, who are probably one of the bottom 5 teams in the league. But still, I don't think this is a crazy ranking for the Ravens. They were my Super Bowl pick in the preseason. That one loss, I do think was a little fluky, a game they should have won. But what do you guys think?
No, I agree. Ravens are probably my AFC Super Bowl pick. I want to see them finally succeed. I want to see Lamar win, go win the big one. But yeah, I feel like 4 is always great. Even if they won against the Bills, they'll probably still be at 4 or 3.
Yeah.
That's how I think it would go.
I think totally fair ranking for the Ravens. But
I think it's definitely a fair ranking, but I still am questioning that coordination. I mean, you saw how that Bills game went. They were up by a good amount, 40-25. But the same thing happens almost every year. It happened with the Giants, if you remember, a few years ago. It was a complete meltdown, and I feel that's going to happen more this year. So I like the ranking right now, but I don't know if it should stay.
Yeah, I think for the one-loss teams, they're by far the best one-loss team in the league. I think only the Lions are close. They do play each other this week, though. Lions, Ravens. Someone's going to be 1 and 2, so we'll see how that goes. Moving on now to the top 3, the 3 best teams in the league. There are the Green Bay Packers. We were just talking about them. They dismantled the Lions in Week 1, took care of business against the Washington Commanders, who are also in this top 10 in Week 2. Number 3, I think this is fair. What do you guys think?
I think they're currently the best team in the NFC, honestly. Obviously, I was high on the Packers going into the season, and I was like, oh, maybe they can get to the NFC Championship, like their caliber of that. But in how they played these past 2 weeks, and also getting Micah Parsons, I think they are Super Bowl contenders now.
I mean, I think they deserve to be 2 right now. They ahead of I'm assuming the Eagles is going to be number 2.
The other one, I can't remember right now.
That defense, that is one of the best defenses ever. I mean, I'm a salty Cowboys fan, but Micah Parsons is easily one of the best edge rushers in the NFL.
Zeb, I see you shaking your head.
Yeah, he talks about the Cowboys. He thinks they're so good, yet they're not even on the list, just to throw that out there. But,
I don't see it here either.
To be honest, with this ranking, Packers are a little surprising to me because I thought after they lost Rodgers, they would be not necessarily worse, but not top 3. And to see that they're doing so well is kind of surprising after what they've had in the past.
Yeah, the Packers certainly a surprising team this year, but we are down to our top 2. Who is number 2? It's the defending champion Eagles. Wow, I'm shocked they're not number 1. The Eagles beat the Chiefs again in Week 2. Beat the Cowboys, even though they did struggle in that game a little bit in Week 1. A lot of controversy over the tush-push still. The Chiefs were complaining about it a lot. But still, the Eagles get the job done. What do you guys think?
I think their Super Bowl win is the sole reason why they're number 2. They have not impressed me at all.
I think that's fair.
They almost everyone's expecting them to blow out the Cowboys Week 1. They didn't. They struggled. And then even how the Chiefs have been playing, they struggled against them. They were relying heavily on the run. Like Jalen Hurts has not been throwing the ball at all. So I don't think they're the all. Last year they felt like a complete team. They're not feeling like a complete team to me right now, just because they're only running the ball and not doing anything with the passing.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. The Eagles, they've struggled this year in their 2 wins, but they did beat 2, I'd say, above average teams. I think the Cowboys are better than people think. But moving on to the number 1 team on this list, it is the Buffalo Bills. They beat the Jets in MetLife Stadium last week. They're playing in about 30 minutes after we're recording this. And they're number 1. Do you guys think this is a fair ranking?
Oh, very.
Absolutely.
They have to be the highest caliber offense in the NFL, period. You got James Cook, who you can dare say is a top 3 running back. And even though their wide receiving room doesn't seem like it's that good, like Coleman stepped up.
He is stepping up.
And Josh Allen, he can do everything. He can do whatever he wants with that ball.
Yeah.
I think another MVP season coming.
Definitely could be.
I absolutely agree. Sorry to interrupt, but I absolutely
good.
agree. I think that they deserve this. Everyone's saying it. Everyone's saying they're good. ESPN says it, you know what I mean? Everyone knows how good this team is, and Josh Allen and then the people on the line and even the wide receivers, everyone works together as such a force, and that's what makes them such a great team.
Yeah, Bills at number 1. So obviously we're still early in the season. It's only Week 3. Got a long ways to go, so I'm sure these rankings will change a lot. But that is going to do it for this segment of The Extra Point. We'll be back for more shortly.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzing overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
Touchdown! Did you see that? Whoa, we scored?
Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride.
Wait, why does my face look like that?
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's gotta come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect day and keeps me company when I'm doing schoolwork. I like it when he jumps up on the table too. He is a veggie thief. He's an incredible companion and my best friend. Can't say that I've met anybody that doesn't love him too. When I adopted Turtle, I discovered all the things that make him unique. He's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly he's all pure love.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the final segment of your first episode of the new year of Extra Point. So happy to be here, joined with Benicio and Brayden. Today, Benicio is well dressed for the occasion. We're going to be talking some New York Mets baseball, and to mixed results of that. I mean, we're going to be talking about one of the biggest collapses in the history of Major League Baseball. You guys know what it is. You guys listening probably know what it is. 2007 Mets and how they relate to the current Mets, because there are a lot of crazy comparisons between the two. So let's get a little bit of a laugh at the Mets, because I sure know I love to do so. But hey, listen, maybe they can turn things around.
Hopefully.
They just took 2 out of 3 from the Padres.
You always can, it's baseball.
Absolutely. Just took 2 out of 3 from the Padres. Pretty convincing fashion, too. But let's take a little trip down memory lane. Who remembers 2006? I do.
I wasn't born, so.
But either way.
I was actually born in 2007, so I grew up hearing about this.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe you cursed the Mets.
I hope not. I really hope not.
But anyways, so 2006, the Mets, obviously the iconic Carlos Beltran strikeout to end the NLCS in Game 7. The Mets come in all energized, they're ready. Or for that was in 2006. 2007, the Mets come in, they're all ready. And then, gets to September, they're the #1 seed in the National League.
Yeah.
And then everything just goes wrong. The pitching falls apart, and then it's all capitalized with that game, win or go home game against the Marlins. Tom Glavine on the mound.
Fresh off win number 300.
And then he gives up
7 runs.
Yeah.
First inning.
We lose 8-1.
8-1. And it's just crazy about how that actually happened, because if you look at their stats, everyone was good. Moises Alou was in the middle of a 21-game hit streak at the time. Luis Castillo was great. They had Carlos Beltran, David Wright, Jose Reyes. They had a ton of talent on that team. Not to mention they still had a great pitching staff. Pedro Martinez.
That's who I got on my jersey.
Right now. Look at that. What a jersey pull. That's a great pull. But they had so much talent on that roster. Not to mention Hall of Fame closer Billy Wagner, who kind of struggled in that month. He had a 3.6 ERA during that month of September.
Yeah, he was a huge culprit for that collapse. A lot of those close games we lost were on him.
Yeah, there's just so many moments that they were okay, well, where did it start? It started with that they lost 3 out of 4 of the Phillies.
Yeah.
They could not beat the Phillies that year.
We got swept.
Yeah, they lost the first 3 games to the Phillies, and then it just seemed everything started to taper off. They had a super easy schedule. They only had to play the Nationals and the Marlins besides 1 game against the Cardinals. And then just everything went wrong against a Nationals team that was one of the worst hitting teams in all of baseball. They put up a 10 spot on the Mets twice when won the series.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know it's, kind of crazy to go that far deep. But when you look at this Mets team, a lot of very similar things are happening.
Yeah, because one problem with that team was that Pedro Martinez, Tom Glavine, they were all very old. So going into the final month of the season, you got to think that they're a little bit fatigued more so than the younger guys. And on top of that, Billy Wagner, he just had the worst stretch of his career at the worst possible time.
Yeah, I mean, I say when you're making a big comparison like this, 2007 to 2025, Yeah, we're focusing on a lot of those major kind of downfall similarities, but I feel like we also got to take into consideration, like you just said, we kind of had some of those older guys that, the fatigue gets to them. But now I feel like, especially within the last couple of years, we're getting some younger guys in there mixed in with our more seasoned players that, we have Jonah Tong, we have Noah McLean. Like, these are two guys fresh starting MLB debuts this season, and we could already tell, like, hey, like they're bringing the energy, they're kind of rejuvenating the team. And today, I mean, I wasn't able to watch the game, unfortunately, but I know Jonah Tong, he saved us, had a great game tonight.
After having two of the worst starts of his career, he shut down that Padres offense.
And they just have such a talented young core. It's an interesting comparison between the two. One is a lot more of an older staff. There's a lot more of a young staff.
Yeah.
But, you have to think that this roster, that the fact that we're relying on three young guys, McLean has been, that guy is unbelievable.
Yeah, shocking. It really has been a shocker.
But when you look at the way the roster's constructed, it blows my mind that you have to rely on those guys. Like, Minaya hasn't been the same really since last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Senga's optioned to AAA, and it just seems that kind of the juice that this Mets pitching really kind of had last year. And then don't even get me started on the bullpen. Ryan Helsley,
our pen.
Both Senga and Minaya have not been the same since those injuries. So that's another thing you can look at with this team. I don't know if they were rushed back too fast, but it feels like those injuries, they have not been the same all-star caliber pitchers since coming back from the IR.
I feel like you could even make that case with Alvarez too. Just the other day he got hit with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. But even beforehand, when he came back, he wasn't the same player. It wasn't like his 22 season, his 23 season, where he was nuking bombs out of the park, So it really goes to show, some of our guys, once they get injured, they're not at the same caliber. And then especially with Senga when was the last full season that he pitched?
It was his rookie year.
It was his rookie
2
year,
years ago.
And since then, he's been injured, opting out almost every single season. And I think it was a smart decision to option down the AAA.
Yeah, just let him find his groove again. And then what they need to do is they need to pair him up with Peterson like they did in last year's playoffs, because Peterson's been struggling himself. Both those guys are just not playing like playoff starters.
Right, and David Peterson was great to start the year. They were pulling guys seemingly off the street, like Griffin Canning had like a sub-3 ERA
and
for
then
a
he
while.
got hurt.
Yeah. And then he unfortunately got hurt, but still, they seemed like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
And it just seemed everything just kind of fell apart with the pitching, at least. And then they tried to buy at the deadline. I really thought that the Mets were going to push for a starter. I thought maybe like a Joe Ryan and Alcantara or something like that. They were going to try and get. Even like a Merrill Kelly, I thought that they were going to try and get, but then just they didn't.
I don't really think we should have gone after Cedric Mullins or Ryan Presley, or Helsley, not Presley, because Helsley's they say that on one of their broadcasts, they were talking about how his natural role as a closer, so you can't just stick a random closer into the role of a setup man and expect them to succeed. So if you really wanted a setup man, go out and get a setup man. And then with Mullins, he's mostly a defensive specialist. You could have just ran it back with Jose Siri or Tyrone Taylor. But if you use those prospects to get someone like Joe Ryan, that would have been far more valuable, especially since the Twins made it known that they were tanking at the deadline. They were giving up everyone.
Yeah, one of the bigger fire sales in recent baseball history since really that Cubs dismantling in 2021.
And look how that paid off for the Cubs.
Yeah, look at their prospect haul. There's more
Cubs
Javier Baez for PCA. But let's take a trip. Let's talk more about the offense for the Mets.
Yeah.
What did Steve Cohen call it? I believe the Fab Four between
he did.
Soto, Lindor, Alonso, and Nimmo.
Yeah.
None of them, it seems like they all kind of they've gotten hot at certain times, but none of them have been kind of clicking at all cylinders at the same time.
Yeah, what I take from that is, I don't want to say this is a cliche kind of response, but, that's kind of baseball, especially when you got some of those newer guys like Soto, this is his first, even though he's going to be with us how long, it's his first season. So it's going to take some adjusting time for him to really get in sync with some of the other guys that have been there for a while. You know, like Lindor. We know they have a very good relationship in the locker room. We know all these other things too. They both are very solid players, but it just that kind of, it takes time to really adjust and get into the groove, which I know we all wish could happen immediately. As baseball fans, we all want to see our team really strive for that, you know?
But I would say with our offense, I think Soto and Alonso, they're performing how I expected them to be performing. Same with Nimmo. I'd say Lindor's definitely underperforming, not only as a hitter, but also as a fielder. He's made more errors than I would have liked to see this year. But the bigger problem on offense has just been leaving runners on base. There's just been too many games where we're not hitting the ball with runners in scoring position. And there was one point in the season, like late August, early September, when we swept the Phillies. There was a brief streak where we were getting those RBIs. But since then, our offense has not been good with runners in scoring position. And all season long, we have just been anything but clutch. That was the biggest thing that got us so far last year. We were one of the most clutch teams in baseball.
Especially in the playoffs.
And we don't have a single come-from-behind win in the 8th or 9th inning this year.
Well, we'll see if the Mets do begin to transition. We'll see if times change. We'll see if the Mets can overcome their struggles. But we'll see that as the season goes on. Thank you guys so much for listening to the first episode of Extra Point. So excited to be back, and we will see you in the next shoot.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.